All right, so we're flying right along now. Now we're going to talk a little bit about camera moves. So as you see, this is a very controlled, steady camera move, and it would have been a nightmare if we would have had to go through and key this all on our own because there are some certain points that we want to hit specifically. And we want it to be very much like it's on a jib or being flown by a drone and very consistent and smooth and cinematic. And so the way that we accomplish that in our scene is through splines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file here. We added a cube to it. This is going to be mimicking our strawberry mint world. And what we're going to do is then we're going to add a circle around it, which needs to be XZ, so it's laying flat. And we're just going to scale this way up. And we're going to bring it even with the object. So what we're going to want to do now is create a camera, which is going to be set to the view that we're in currently, but we are going to be changing that by going align to a path. And that path is going to be, sorry, not align to path. We want to align to a spline, which is going to be the circle. And then we also want to give this a target object of the cube. So, doesn't look like much has happened, but a lot has happened. We are now targeting the cube object. So now if you grab your circle, you can see that no matter where I move it, my cube is right in the center of the view field there. And I have a position percentage now along the spline that I can adjust. So that comes in very handy. I can go on keyframe 1. You'd hit Command or your Microsoft key, Windows key on your keyboard. Hold that, click position. We've set a keyframe. And then let's go to the last frame and let's go to 100. And let's go back to the first frame and let's watch. Okay, nothing too cool there, but we've got our motion. And now it's not exactly what we had in the scene before. So what we actually used in the scene prior was we grabbed what's called a helix. And again, this has got to be XZ. And we're going to scale it way up. Okay, what we want to do is, we can see that the height on this bad boy is a little too tall. So let's bring him way down. Because we want to have that kind of ascending move. So again, let's go back to the path. Now that we've deleted the circle, we're going to make the helix the path. All right, but we've already got our keyframe information in there, so let's just keep it. And now we're seeing this ascension, okay? Now obviously we're using the full range in the position, so we're going from 0% to 100%. So let's get rid of the last key, and sometimes you have to just kind of eyeball, you know, what one full direction is. So as I go around, it looks like, you know, that's about one full rotation. It's about 38%. So let's go here. Let's go to 38, type it in, and let's set our final key. Go back to the beginning. Voila, there's one full rotation. And obviously I'm only using 90 frames. Real simple fix here would be, let's just make this a lot bigger, and we'll now give it a little bit more grace. Obviously it also adds to the size of an object. Even though we're working in a smaller environment here, you can kind of make it look grander by slowing down keyframes, and we'll get into all the animation specifics, but that's basically how you're going to make your camera moves in Cinema 4D. Is you're always going to use a camera and an object that you're going to want to align to, and then you'll target whatever environment it is. So there's a lot of other ways to do that, though. You can even go in and draw your own objects. When you're doing that, make sure that you are changing your view field and using the top field, because if you just draw it in the perspective view, you're not going to be able to judge whether you're making a linear path or not. So what I mean is if you come in here and you do linear, I set a key there, I set a key there. Okay, and let's say I'm setting that linear path in my viewport. I know it's flat now. Oops. And I can drag it up and you can see, oh, I'm still highlighting one key of it, which I'm not really sure why it's doing that. Oh, there we go. So there's my spline, and my anchor point's way off, but you can see now it's flat on the ground, whereas if I drew it in perspective, it would probably be sloped, and I'd never get that quite right. So anyway, another quick and dirty. Hope it was helpful. See you on the next one. Thanks.